How's it going, YouTube? I am having a good weekend so far. I haven't done a whole lot today. Really been enjoying doing these videos on YouTube, so if you're watching them, thank you. I appreciate it a lot. If you are getting any kind of value out of this stuff, it means a lot to me if you subscribe or comment or like or share. So today I'm going to tell you one of my favorite stories, and this is the story of my Berklee audition. Let's go back to Boulder High School. I'm a senior and I'm in rock band and jazz band and concert band. I'm having a great time, and it's time to apply for colleges. And I haven't looked at any of them yet. I haven't even thought about college applications. I'm just running through the worst case of senioritis somebody could possibly get, enjoying life, playing in bands outside of school, and not thinking about it too hard. All my friends are like getting accepted to Pomona and Harvard and Yale and like all these places, and I'm playing the drums. Then my mom went to Boston. She went to visit her sister who lived out near Boston, and they decided to do a tour of this music school that was out there. And my mom called me, I think, and she had been touring the campus with my aunt, and she calls me up and she says, "Max, you have to go here." She just knew, like, I think she saw that campus and she saw all the things that people were doing and all the musicians there, and she's like, this is your place. I get a little bit emotional talking about this stuff, but we're going to compress all that so I can tell you this story. So she said, "This is the place you have to go. This is where you belong." And I did. I don't know how she knew, but she knew. So anyway, flash forward a couple months. Now I really got to apply for schools. So I write a letter to CU. And I'm typing it up, and I finish it, and I'm like, hell yeah, this is a pretty good acceptance letter. I think I'll get in. And so I save it, put it on my desktop on my computer. And then I researched Berklee a little bit. And I grab that acceptance letter and I drag it right into the trash. And I just knew if I wasn't going to go to this prestigious music school, I wasn't going to go to college. So anyway, I was dating this girl at the time, and she lived in New York. So we decided, I went to go visit her this one time, and we decided that we'd take a little trek to Boston and check it out. And oh God, and there's this moment where driving in this bus, it was probably like a mega bus for like $10, terrible, and we're coming over this hill, and I see the Boston lights for the first time. And it was so amazing. I'd never felt so small and so inspired and all that all at the same time. It felt like I could do something really big just by being in that city. I decided I'm going to Berklee. So I start researching all the audition material. Meanwhile, High School Max is still doing all the music stuff, and I actually got accepted into All-State Orchestra that year, which was one of my proudest achievements. I'm really happy about that. Here's the thing. The All-State Orchestra performance, the final performance, same weekend as my Berklee audition. I'm prepping my Berklee stuff. I'm not even thinking about All-State Orchestra. And now it's the week of All-State Orchestra, and it's time, and I still don't care. I'm still working on my Berklee audition. I'm practicing all the rudiments. I'm working out of this book. I'm working on my prepared piece, which was a Dream Theater song, which looking back is just hilarious going into this jazz school. So now it's our first rehearsal, and everything's just moving very quickly, and I'll never forget this moment, but I'm sitting there, and I'm playing timpani, by the way, for this All-State Orchestra. I'm sitting there, and I have my music in front of me for this piece that we're about to play, and I have my Berklee audition prep on the same stand, and okay. I hadn't even listened to the piece yet, and I don't know if I was cocky or if I just really cared that much about the Berklee audition, but I was not familiar with Shostakovich 5, to say the least, and if you don't know that piece, the fourth movement, which is of course the first thing we're practicing, is basically like the biggest timpani part ever. And it starts off and it's timpani right to the races. And I didn't know this, so I remember our conductor getting ready, cueing everybody. I'm like, I'm gonna sight read this thing. Like, no, you're not, Max. He starts this piece off, and I realize how much I up. I'm looking at the music. I have my mallets in front of me, and I'm kind of not even barely scraping by, and heads are kind of. I don't know this, but the timpani is the most important part of that piece. It's like a freaking timpani solo. It's huge. We're playing this. I'm not really, and we finish, and the conductor just looks up at me and he goes, "Have you even listened to this piece?" Well, I was gonna. There's just like this groan in the whole auditorium, and I was so embarrassed. You think I would have learned my lesson from that, but no. So next day, this is like a 3-day intensive. We have 2 days of practice, and then we hit the stage at CSU. It's like this giant stage. Everybody's parents come. It's this whole thing. So finally, Saturday rolls around, and I've finally gained the trust of some of the orchestra, and we're about to play our piece, our final piece, and I'm so excited, and I decided I'm going to celebrate, and so we go to this coffee shop called Wild Boar that was in Fort Collins. It actually closed since then, which I'm really bummed about, and me and my friend Isabella, who was playing harp, we go and get some coffee, and they have this drink at Wild Boar called a Cubano, and I didn't know what a Cubano was. Turns out it's 2 shots of espresso with sugar and cinnamon in the grounds, and so when you pull it through the portafilter, you get this like delicious cinnamony, sugary espresso shot. But I didn't know what that was, so I got a Cubano, and then just to be safe, I also got a normal double shot of espresso. And turns out I liked the Cubano, so I drank that, and then I'd already bought the espresso, so I had that too. And we're walking back to go play the Shostakovich 5. And I'm just strolling along, and I start to feel my hands just start to twitch and tingle, and I know I'm in for a ride. So now we're on stage. I'm in my tux, which I borrowed from a neighbor. I didn't have one. It was way too big for me. And we're about to play, and everybody's moving into the auditorium, and everybody's sitting down. The lights are dimming. My hands are shaking. We're about to start playing. The conductor gets ready to cue the band for this first movement, and I realize I haven't tuned the timpani yet. And so he's about to conduct, and I go, just this panic move, like, wait. So now he freezes, he sees me, and he just kind of puts down. The entire auditorium is silent because we were about to start playing, and I'm sitting there tuning the timpani with my mallet, holding it, trying to tune this thing, just shaking and sweating, and the mallet is going like this. You can look back in the video, there's just this little. And so I tune them, and we play the piece, and we get to the 4th movement, and I'll remind you, this is the first movement that I heard of this piece, and it might just be me, but every time I listen to this, I get this sense of impending doom. We get to this epic ending section, which is, again, just like a giant timpani solo, and I just remember every millisecond I'm trying to decide which timpani I'm going to hit, and I get through it, and I finish, and everything's happy. And it was maybe the most stressful experience of my life. I finished, everybody bows, it's great, we're done. I'm hugging my parents and my friends, and we're finished. So the next day is my Berklee audition. I walked into that thing. What's up, judges? Here you go. Boom. I sat down on the kit. I crushed my performance piece. I crushed everything they asked me to do. And I was not even the slightest bit nervous. I think I literally ran out of cortisol in my body, and so I just waltzed in and crushed that audition and was able to go to Berklee. If you guys enjoyed that, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe, comment, and let me know what kinds of videos you'd like to see from this channel. I'm trying out a couple different things as I'm growing, and thank you so much for watching.